I have to be honest, one of the most infuriating things that I see people say about the men's rights movement is when they try and brush us off by saying, oh, MRAs don't actually care about men's rights. It's secretly just an excuse to hate women. And very often, this comes from people who have absolutely no idea what the men's rights movement is. And I just find it so arrogant to think that you know more than someone who has spent years in the men's rights movement, years reading about different studies and statistics and literature and engaging in dialogue and debate. And yet you think you can just come and brush it off and say, no, no, you don't actually care about any of the issues that you've been talking about and researching for years and have experienced and suffered from for years. No, no, this is actually just a way to hate women. It's a secret excuse and a secret club to hate women. There are so many reasons why this is a completely different argument. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that here. First of all, MRAs actually know these men's issues exist because we actually experience them. They actually happen to us and people around them. And by the way, it's not just men who are MRAs. There are many famous female MRAs, such as Karen Strawn, such as Elizabeth Hobson, such as Cassie Jaye, to name just a few. And in some of the men's rights spaces that I'm in, the gender balance is actually very much balanced between men and women. And it's because people notice that these issues happen, and they notice that men and boys are being affected by discrimination and disparity under law and in society. And so we actually do care about these issues because these issues actually happen. So to say that we don't actually care about these issues and it's just secretly an excuse to hate women is, I'm sorry to say, so arrogant. And if I seem a little heated or irritated, it's because I am. And it's because it's so insulting to people who have not only been through these issues themselves, but have seen other people they know, friends and family, go through these issues and want to become a part of something that tries to address these problems. Secondly, the arrogance of thinking that you know more about the men's rights movement than the people that have actually spent years of their lives in the men's rights movement, years of their lives doing research, reading literature, reading studies, having dialogue, having debate. And yet you can just come along on some YouTube comment or some Reddit comment and just flippantly dismiss them and say, no, no, you don't actually care about any of the things that you've been talking about and affected by for years. It's just secretly an excuse to hate women. And finally, the motive makes absolutely no sense. Why would guys wake up one morning and just randomly decide that they hate women? So they're going to start this whole movement where they investigate and talk about valid men's issues and things that actually affect them and people that they know, and spend so many years and so many hours writing articles and researching different laws and different studies and different social trends, not because they actually care about them, not because they actually want to do anything about them, but because secretly they just want to use it as a secret club to hate women. What would be the point? There's absolutely no benefit to being an MRA. There's no social benefit. There's definitely no professional benefit. There's definitely no money involved in it. So when I see someone say you don't actually care about men's rights, it's just a secret excuse to hate women, why? What would be the point? And with all due respect, how the hell do you know what you're talking about, what we actually care about or not? How the hell do you know what we've been through or not? So when I see that, it's just such a basic and uninformed and ignorant take that it's infuriating. Frankly, it is infuriating. I mean, it's so insulting to the people that have been affected by these issues for so long and have studied these issues for so long and actually have cared about these issues for so long and know people that have been affected by these issues for so long, that when I see comments like that, I just think this person doesn't know what they're talking about. So if you're someone who's against the men's rights movement, I would invite you to come and join a men's rights community. come and talk to us. Come and see what we actually believe. And come and see what we're actually about. Because I understand where your views are coming from. There's a lot of very unfair, very slanted, very biased, and frankly, very dishonest publications on the media about the men's rights movement. And a lot of people associate the men's rights movement with the more toxic elements of the manosphere. You know, I've seen articles about MAGTOWs or about incels or red pillars or tradcons or blatant misogynists, and they're labeled as men's rights activists. These are not men's rights activists, and that is not what the men's rights movement is about. So if you have any questions, if you want to know more about the men's rights movement, feel free to comment below or send me an email, blueorange22mra@gmail.com. So I'm sorry if I come across as a little bit heated in this video, but this is something that just really bothers me, and it's something that I've faced for years. I mean, imagine that you're part of a movement and you've been spending years and years researching and talking and developing your ideas and meeting people who are victims of certain circumstances, male victims of domestic violence, people who have been through abusive court systems, people who have been punished in some way for being male, people who are affected by the double standards of being male. And when people say, oh, well, this is all just because of the patriarchy, I also find that very insulting, because I could do a whole video series, and in fact, I've done several videos on how that's just not an adequate explanation. And so to feminists, when I hear you say that you're tackling men's issues by tackling the patriarchy, tell me specifically how. Tell me specifically what you're doing about circumcision right now. Tell me specifically what you're doing about the life expectancy gap right now. Tell me specifically what you're doing about boys' education gap right now. Tell me specifically what you're doing about conscription right now. And I will actually give credit where credit is due. I will say, now, the National Organization for Women did in fact link up with the NCFM to sue the US government over selective service. But I've also seen in some countries, feminist groups advocate against equal conscription. And I will also say this. Men's rights activists don't want women to be drafted. We want no draft at all. But that's kind of a video for a different time. My name is BlueOrange22. Again, feel free to leave a comment or ask me any questions. Thank you very much.